Hello and good evening. You're watching Zodiac from the Atbridge Center in Lilongwe, and it is news time. We have a number of stories tonight. Among them, Senior Cabinet Minister has said all ongoing strikes in government establishments and elsewhere are illegal actions. Teachers react angrily to Malawi Electoral Commission's decision to using teachers as election presiding officers. In just under one financial year, Mangochi district alone handled 600 women with abortion-related cases. And in Kasungu, a mother has given birth to a baby girl with the rare condition of a strangely inflating head. Hello and welcome. This is Twesa Takula with News on Zodiac. Industrial disputes have all of a sudden sprouted in almost all sectors of the economy now. Work in the judiciary and other establishments has been seriously paralyzed. And while other sectors are also threatening to down tools too, for reasons bordering on take-home pecks, government has described all the ongoing strikes in the country as illegal. At least that is the position of Labour Minister Henry Musa. Tadala Galizera reports.
In almost all cases where workers are on strike, poor salaries is the major reason. Workers are thus demanding pay increment. The majority of those on strike are civil servants. The most significant at the moment is the strike by support staff in the judiciary. It has virtually paralyzed court operations and now affecting operations in police and the prisons department. Not a long time ago, it was the teachers who went on strike asking for increment in salaries. It was later nurses in Lilongwe. But what does government have to say about this? Henry Musa is the Minister of Labour.
They are illegal. Majority of them are not following the laid down rules and regulations. The law, that's the Labour Relations Act, chapters 42 to 46, stipulates the procedures that need to be followed. Yes, strike is a right, but it must have responsibility and must be done orderly after you have exhausted all the available ways and means to have it amicably settled. Unfortunately, for the few strikes that we've come across in this country, just people waking up one morning and then start demonstrating, and that is illegal, and we're simply saying, hold on a minute, we really have to follow the procedure. And as a ministry, shortly we would like to go out and do a massive awareness campaign of what these provisions are saying or are talking about.
Meanwhile, as workers in the judiciary push for more pay, workers at the National Food Reserve Agency are also saying more money, a development the Teachers Union of Malawi says may spark trouble for government. TUM feels a solution to the problem is to harmonize pay in the whole civil service. For Zodiac TV News, this is Tadala Galizera.
Health authorities in Mangochi have disclosed that during the 2013-2014 financial year alone, over 600 women were attended to with abortion-related
Teachers in the country have presided over elections since the onset of multi-party elections in
678 women aged between 14 and 40 were involved, and over half of the number were girls aged below 20 years. The doctor was speaking during the launch of the music album Amai Akuferanji as part of the campaign for the prevention of unsafe abortion. At a recent event in Lilongwe, veteran musician Wendy Harawa had this to say about the trends.
The song is called Sindizakunjira Chipinjo. Why I decided and agreed is because according to the information I have and the research that is there, about 29,000 women die every year from unsafe abortions, and about 5 million more maybe suffer permanently and partially or damages, where infertility and stuff like that. So when I thought about it and when I heard of the topic, I thought, why should my mothers, my sisters, our daughters and our grand whatever die when this can be, there can be safe abortion? According to what I know, abortion is there. It's just that maybe it's possible for those that can and that can afford it. I'll give you an example of, say, there's somebody, a child from school that was raped by cowboys. You see, and this is a girl that was crying every day that my future is gone, my future is done. Even if I have this kid, what will I tell this kid? And school, she couldn't go to school anymore. When she went to see a doctor, the doctor says it couldn't be done because there was no money. What happened later, she did the unsafe abortions and the girl died. So I believe music is an universal language, and if we can be involved, we can save that. All I want is for the safe abortion so that our mothers, our children, our sisters are saved.
It is estimated that over 360 million kwacha is spent on treating post-abortion complications in the country's health facilities. Teachers have reacted angrily to a decision by the Malawi Electoral Commission to stop using teachers as presiding officers during elections, accusing the Commission of using this as a scapegoat for irregularities experienced in May. Executive Director of Teachers Union of Malawi, Dennis Kalekeni, argues that contrary to other assertions, teachers have done well as presiding officers in past elections. This report by Robert Kalua.
Teachers in the country have presided over elections since the onset of multi-party elections in 1993. And during 2014 tripartite elections, the teachers were also entrusted with the same responsibility. The difference this time around is that the 2014 polls were marred with numerous irregularities, which continue to cause public debate to date. But the decision by the Malawi Electoral Commission to immediately stop, as a matter of policy, to engage teachers as presiding officers during elections in the country has angered the teachers' body. Teachers Union of Malawi Executive Director Dennis Kalekeni feels MEC is trying to imply that the cause of the problems faced in the 2014 tripartite polls was the fact that teachers presided over the elections.
We wish indeed to confirm that there have been general outcry from MEC particularly that this year's tripartite elections had a lot of irregularities, and everybody is aware of that. And when you critically analyze, I think, the issues which took place before and during the elections, even after, I think every honest Malawian is going to believe that there was a little bit of chaos in the process. And for us to overcome this chaos and ensure that we have smooth tripartite elections, 2019 come, I think the best thing that we should do is to all of us sit together and analyze the critical issues that really insinuated the irregularities. MEC had its own role to play in the irregularities. I'll give you an example of delays in delivering of polling materials, where we hear that other polling stations were actually burned to ashes. It was not because of polling staff. It was because MEC was unable to bring the electoral materials on time. So in that particular case, therefore, MEC is shouldering a blame. I would like to indicate there that if MEC indeed is saying they will be recruiting through interviews by presiding officers because teachers have failed, that is a very unfair statement. It is a sweeping statement that we cannot at all accept. MEC must find another reason. But otherwise, we do not want to interfere in their day-to-day work. If they think recruitment through interviews is the best option, then we share that idea, because we do not want to be seen to be intervening in their operations.
But Malawi Electoral Commission has an explanation. The 2014 tripartite elections are said to be the worst hit by irregularities. For Zbstv, this is Robert Kalua.
The Commission came up with this decision. It's quite a number of months ago. If I'm not mistaken, it was immediate after the May 2014 tripartite election. The Commission did it to effect some of the suggestions that were coming from stakeholders. It was thought that the tradition in the past was that the head person of the school was automatically the presiding officer for elections at that school. So some stakeholders thought that maybe we should broaden the base for recruitment of presiding officers. There should be a departure from this tradition. Therefore, they recommended to the Commission that we should be conducting interviews. That is, others who are also eligible, whether it's a teacher at the very same school or a public service officer within the vicinity of the polling station, they can apply for these positions. So we are not necessarily dealing away with the head teachers, but what we are doing is to broaden the base for recruitment of the presiding officer and also create a competition so that we get the best recruits. You may see that this will help in situations where some deficiencies may be in the officing order. We have had a number of cases, but quite a good number of presiding officers that we have worked with as a presiding officer. They did a good job, but this was just a recommendation from the stakeholders.
MEC PRO Sangwani Mwafulira responding to what the teachers are saying. In Kasungu on Tuesday, a baby was born with a rare condition suspected to be a kind of what medical experts is called craniosynostosis. This baby girl was born at Chamwavi Health Center and has attracted a lot of public attention in the area. Our roving reporter Noah Nkubu in Kasungu has the details. Be warned that images coming can be disturbing.
The bouncing baby girl is weighing about 3.4 kilograms. She was born on Monday around dawn at Chamwavi Health Center in Kasungu. Her mouth is wide open and tiny nostrils buried in the flesh, making it difficult for her to suck milk from her mother. Health Center in charge Lord Makoa says despite the abnormal head deformities, the baby is strong and healthy.
Just above the head, there is a large mass, very soft. Doesn't look like there is some bones inside, but it's just a soft mass, but it's very large. And the face is all just flat, and there are some sort of like structures originating from the nose going towards the left eye, and another one to the left eye.
Her mother, 20-year-old Lonica Banda, told Zodiak TV that she has accepted the fruit of her womb as the will of the Creator.
This is Zodiac News, and thank you for being there. My name is Twesa Takula, and I'll be back shortly after this break.
We all need and deserve to be loved, and it's not a crime to look for love. You're not breaking any law looking for love from a familiar person of your choice. So why hesitate? Get to the bridge and Zodiac will help you cross. The Bridge is a Zodiac television production, bringing people that are meant for each other closer. Let the bridge beat that challenge of proximity for you.
To participate in the Bridge television program, drop your pictures and information at Zodiac Broadcasting Station offices in the following locations across Malawi. For more information, contact 0991 525252.
It's on!
It's on! It's on! Game on! The Family Brain Showdown, the game show. The Triple Threat TV show is on. Represent your family, represent your region, stand out from the rest. 4 members, 3 regions, 24 families. 1 family to win it all. Realize a dream to stardom for the whole family. Auditions are here in Mzuzu on 29 and 30 November at the Grand Palace Hotel. Application forms can be collected at Zodiac offices located at Old Mutual Building, or you can download the forms at www.zodiacmalawi.com. Also call us on the following number:
0997 101 991, 0882 860 760.
Be part of the Family Brain Showdown.
Dance on the floor, around.
Welcome back. A look at our top stories once again. Senior Cabinet Minister has said all ongoing strikes in government establishments and elsewhere are illegal actions. Teachers react angrily to Malawi Electoral Commission's decision to stop using teachers as election presiding officers. And coming up, a Malawian farmer shot and injured by Mozambican border police officers in Machinga Tuesday. And barrier workers in Sierra Leone dumping borders in one city to push for their risk allowances. A Malawian farmer is battling for his life at Machinga District Hospital after he was shot in the right leg by Mozambican police as he worked on his tobacco nurseries. Our reporter Winston Kaimila says the nurseries are located along a river in the border between Malawi and Mozambique.
According to the victim of the shooting, Chimpeni Shaime, the Mozambican police accused him of entering that country illegally. Police spokesperson for the Eastern Region, Inspector Tomek Nyaude, confirmed the shooting. He said investigations into what exactly happened are already underway. The victim, who is age 26, says he was tending to his tobacco nurseries when the police found him. He comes from Chimpia village in the area of Senior Chief Nyambi. Malawi and Mozambique are jointly demarcating their borders in keeping with current expectations of the African Union.
Officials from the Treasury today told the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament that measures currently being employed in the public financial management would not allow a repeat of huge sums of money as happened in Cashgate. Secretary to the Treasury Dr. Ronald Mangani said this today when he led a senior public service finance officials to provide information to the committee. Charles Wahara was there.
After publicly expressing dissatisfaction and dismay with a presentation by an official from the Reserve Bank of Malawi on Tuesday, sitting chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee, Kamlepo Kalua, was all smiles today when his committee hosted a team from Treasury which is forthcoming with information. The team, led by Secretary to the Treasury, Dr. Ronald Mangani, demonstrated to assure that nothing of the nature of Cashgate scandal would show its head again in the public financial management system. Kalua said his committee was impressed with steps and measures being taken to correct the systems in public financial management at the moment and was hopeful all would work out as desired.
He has demonstrated that he knows what he's doing. He has clearly shown that indeed we can trust him and that he is worthy to be trusted. As Public Accounts Committee, we commend him for that because he was so honest, very professional, corrected, calm, and he did not hide anything from us. I don't simply praise or commend somebody just because that one is professional, but I see how serious somebody is, and he was very serious indeed. I see how professional somebody, and he was very professional. I could see that this man at least deserves something, and we are quite impressed as a PAC.
Dr. Mangani faced the committee accompanied by Accountant General Thomas Makina, Secretary for Economic Planning and Development Teddy Sitimawina, and the MRA Commissioner General Rafael Kamoto. Dr. Mangani told the committee that the system has finally implemented all 34 recommendations PAC made to tighten investigations into the financial mismanagement and misappropriation in government.
PAC did make recommendations which totaled 34 in terms of responding to the Cashgate issue once it was realized that public funds were actually being misused and misappropriated in government. What we have done in the Ministry of Finance is to ensure that we reflect on each one of those 24 recommendations and provided feedback on each one of them, and in the process therefore addressing the concerns that were raised. In the process of addressing those concerns, we were therefore also tightening the public finance management system. So we have addressed their concerns, and in the process also addressed the concerns that were resulting in the loss of public funds.
For Zodiak TV, this is Charles Wahara.
4 years ago, the Roads Authority in the country spent billions of kwacha erecting pillars along all national roads throughout the country with the objective of reserving space to allow for future expansion of the road network. That huge investment appears to have been cast to history as people clearly ignore the presence of those pillars, with construction inside the boundaries continuing everywhere.
Erecting these structures cost the taxpayer a whopping 210 million kwacha. These road reserve boundaries can be seen on a number of roads in the country. Among them, the Blantyre-Zomba Road, the Lilongwe City Bypass Semchinji Road, Zalewa Mwanza, and Lilongwe to Rumpi. Roads Authority spokesperson Posha Kajanga informs that the original idea was to provide physical and visible demarcation of the road reserve to guide developers. The law provides that there be space for erection of road signs and other services such as telephone cables, electricity lines, water pipes, sewer lines, etc., but that is increasingly being defied. The reserve also provides space for diversions when road works should be done. But 4 years after these road reserve boundaries were erected, it appears that policing is a huge problem as more encroachers than before can be seen. Even graveyards.
World Health Organization has called on government to intensify efforts in the quest to getting to zero HIV and AIDS infections in Malawi by the year 2030. World Health Organization country representative Dr. Eugene Nyako said this Tuesday in Lilongwe at a press briefing ahead of the 2014 World AIDS Day commemoration on December 1. He said the government of Malawi needs to put in more measures to counter current trends, especially that almost half of the adult population does not know their status. Tadala Kaledzera has more.
World Health Organization country representative Dr. Eugene Nyako says Malawi ought to follow the UN AIDS fast-track report steps to end the HIV epidemic come 2030. Among others, the UN AIDS report stipulates that by 2020, a new set of targets must be reached, including to reduce the annual number of new HIV infections among adults to 500,000. However, the WHO representative says it is on a sad note that over 50% of adults in the country do not know their status.
What our big challenge is those who do not know their HIV status. That is quite a big proportion. We are talking about 34% of people and adults who know their status. So we have 50-something% who don't know. And therefore we need to work on this proportion so they also get to know their status. Because when you know your status through testing, then you have access to treatment. And that will put you on the course for the 1990 target by 2030.
Secretary in the Ministry of Nutrition, HIV and AIDS, Edith Nkawa, said Malawi is facing a lot of challenges when it comes to fighting the HIV pandemic.
We are having dwindling resources in terms of HIV and AIDS. There's also need for commitment from each country now that we should be able to add a certain amount of money so that we can buy drugs and other commodities within the country. We are struggling in terms of funds. And for those funds, we are supposed to work with the organizations or other areas like Airtel and others that would help us. People that would help us with such funds, they are also bombarded with requests from other people.
1st December is World AIDS Day and is celebrated every year to raise awareness about HIV and AIDS and to demonstrate international solidarity in the face of the pandemic. For Zodiak TV News, this is Tadala Kaledzera.
We now go to international news. Suicide attacks by 2 female bombers at a crowded market in northern Nigeria's Maiduguri city has killed 78 people. As we watch this BBC report, officials say one of the bombers was a girl aged under 20.
One teenage girl blew herself up first, and as people gathered to help victims, the second girl denotated herself. No group has said it carried out the attacks, but the militant Islamist group Boko Haram is suspected. Its insurgency is to establish what it calls an Islamic State. Campaign group Amnesty International says that the group killed at least 1,500 people in early 2014. It was based in Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, after its formation in 2002, but it has since been driven out of the city by the military and vigilant groups.
Still on the international scene, barrier workers in the Sierra Leone city of Kenema have been dumping bodies in public in protest at non-payment of allowances for handling Ebola victims. Ebola is a highly contagious disease that has killed over 5,000 people since this outbreak began in April this year. Here with the BBC report.
The workers who went on strike over the issue left 15 bodies abandoned at the city's main hospital. One of the bodies was reportedly left by the hospital manager's office and 2 others by the hospital entrance. An official said the workers have now been sacked for treating the corpses in a very, very inhumane way. Sierra Leone is one of the countries worst affected by this year's Ebola outbreak, with more than 1,200 deaths. Burial workers are especially at risk of becoming infected. Kenema is the 3rd largest city in Sierra Leone and the biggest in the east, where the Ebola outbreak first emerged in the country.
You are watching news on Zodiak TV, and as we wind up, let's get to the top stories one more time. World Health Organization says Malawi should intensify efforts to getting to zero HIV and AIDS by the year 2030. Citizens ignore silent law on road reserve boundaries. And on the international scene, female suicide bombers kill 78 people at a crowded market in Maiduguri, Nigeria. And barrier workers in Sierra Leone dumping bodies in one city to push for their health risk allowance. This was Twesa Takula, and that's all we had time for you tonight. Goodbye and thanks for watching.